to run into guys before games and whatnot. And you actually, leading up to that ceremony where your number, where your name was going up to the rafters in Madison Square Garden, felt a little uncomfortable because you felt Andy Bathgate should have gone first.
And again, as I said, we talk about, we're here speaking about history, the history of the Garden and grabbing a piece of history. And when you talk to Mr. Bathgate, he's the type of gentleman that when you get around him or you're in his company,
you give him your address.
It's really it's great. He's got an aura about him in class, and certainly the great hockey that he played in New York, and then obviously going up to Toronto. But some of the stories, that he would tell about the circus coming in and taking a week off or playing the entire playoff on the road, and everything that they played through in their day. But I also understood where he stood as far as his peers and when he played, and for me it was very, very humbling to have my name beside him and sharing that number that I could have easily not been able to wear because he's such a great player.
That's one of the interesting things about Madison Square Garden. If you look back at the history of the building, is way back when they first built Madison Square Garden and when the Rangers started up, and then in the 30s and the 40s, they actually made a lot more money having the circus here than they did other things. So when the circus would come to town, everybody else would have to get out, and it really made for some interesting things with the Rangers. But let's go back. You talk about Andy Bathgate, Harry Howell, Eddie Giacomin, Rod Gilbert, and then you add the players from the 90-14 team, yourself, Mark Messier, Mike Richter. You look at these great players who have all had their number retired, and Brian Leach, of course, as well. It's kind of a little fraternity now that you guys get together for some of these Ranger events, and it must be kind of humbling to be in that company.
I was brought in just to bring the coffees and the newspapers to those guys and grab the room service and clean up after them. So no, it is, but that's a great part of this game, because you grow up together and you feel like a family. And I know when we're talking about the outdoor game coming up in the end of December in Philadelphia, the Winter Classic. We're talking about the alumni game and all the different guys that are going to be coming in, and it just brings back a flood of memories. And the best part is it's the people. At the end of the day, all of our experiences, doesn't matter who it involves, it's about the people. And I think if you asked anyone that's here that comes down the Garden, and you see season ticket holders, they talk about their relationships that they've forged with other people that sit 2 seats down from them or 3 seats ahead of them, and they know, and they've seen the kids coming to the game for 20 years, from the time they were 3 or 4 to 20 years later, where they're getting married, and it's where they went on their honeymoon and stuff like that. And that for me is a special part, where it's building capsules, building these memories that you never forget. And it's no different when you talk about a fraternity, whether it's a player that was lucky enough to win a Stanley Cup, or you have different players that weren't in your era, like Vic Hatfield, what a wonderful man he is, and having the privilege of getting to know him, and the list goes on and on, to Ron Duguay, to there's so many different guys that we do different programs with, that it's fun. You get together, you tell the stories, and they get better and better all the time. It's fantastic. I mean, Nicky Fatu is a close friend now, and a fellow that I have the utmost respect for. Just a wonderful guy to be around. I look forward to whenever I know we're doing an event together. I can't wait, because we can talk hockey for hours. It's fantastic.